welcome back to Glenlarthen, and it's the end of Feb. The money has gone up a reasonable amount, and that is from the dairy back at Maypole and also selling some of the crops that we had stored at Maypole. So the dairy's making about £30,000 a month. At the moment, we had, if you guys remember, just before we moved over here, we had a bunch of calves, which meant the cows were producing lots of milk, and still are. And then, yeah, in I think it was in December or January, we sold a bunch of the crops that were in the silo. So that brought in a load of cash as well. So the money has gone up a little bit, which is quite nice. It is very snowy in February. You can see from where the bales were just how deep the snow is on here. Welcome to Scotland, I guess. The light's a little bit better in February, which is nice. So I'm going to get these bales cleared off the field in preparation for spring actually arriving. I think technically we're still in winter. Once spring arrives, see, we have the remainder of field 1 to cultivate. I have been a very bad person, and all winter I have left that John Deere and the cultivator sat out in the field, so that's going to need a little bit of TLC, I suspect. And this field needs splitting into and crops planting. So I'm trying to remember, I did ask you guys what you thought I should be feeding the cows. So I think one suggestion from Pete was fresh maize, so not fermenting it into silage, which is an interesting one. We definitely am going to be planting some maize for silage. We're going to plant some spuds, as suggested by Cartech, and I'm not sure what else. So someone did suggest, I think it was Neil mentioned, about barley for the whiskey distilleries. So maybe we'll plant some barley for straw. The plan is to whole crop the wheat that I planted in the winter. So, and basically as early as we can, I'm going to whole crop that. Probably green mow it and get it baled. So yeah, I think we'll do, I think barley's the only crop we can plant the earliest crop we can plant, which is April. So, a bit of time to skip probably still. But that means I need to go back onto Maypole and do the stuff there. And actually maybe in April we might be able to bring the cows over as well. The grass might be grown enough that we can bring the cows over to graze, which would be cool as well. So that might be the next video on here. I'm not sure. I was hoping that there would be contracts available in March. There are not. There was one when I was filming, but by the time when I stopped the contracts, that contract had disappeared. So I'm guessing it might be April before the Agri guys have much work to do on here. I may get them to help me plow this field. It's going to be the same process that I did on field 1, so I might get them to help with ploughing this field in. Not sure. If not in April, I suspect they will be full force on getting stuff done on here. It will be awesome. Haven't really been able to make this available as a multiplayer yet because there's not really been any work because it's been winter the whole time that we've been here. So yeah, I'm gonna say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. I actually appreciate you guys supporting the channel. You are all pretty darn awesome. If anyone else is interested in any of those, there are links below. Always completely optional, obviously. Appreciate you watching the videos as well. So it's coming towards the end of my holiday as I am recording this. It's probably over by the time you're watching this. It's been nice to have a week off work. It's not gone as I would have hoped, to be honest. as the I'm pretty sure I said on here, the plan was to stream enough to get Twitch affiliate, and that did not happen. Did a couple of streams and it was really good fun. Really enjoyed it. But the last few days I've just not had the not been in the right frame of mind, I guess. I'm not had a couple of stressful things happen outside of this kind of stuff in the real world, which I'm not going to go into. I'm fine. Just meant that I haven't felt like streaming and chatting and stuff. So yeah, but you know, it's not the end of the world that it didn't happen. I'm trying to move the mouse to change the viewpoint. Oh geez. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember the last time I actually streamed. I think it was Saturday. I think I did a Saturday morning, which was, I know, a bit of a weird time to stream, but it seemed to work okay. Generally, that's not a good time for me to be streaming, because generally I go for a run on a Saturday morning, but the run that I had planned to do didn't work out, so I was back home significantly earlier than I expected, because the route that I had planned to run was massively overgrown. The warm weather has obviously encouraged lots of growth of stuff, and it's not been dry enough here that it hasn't stopped it growing. So that's a good thing in general, but it's a bit annoying. Yeah, we've not had masses of rain here, but the local fields are all looking pretty good, actually. Either are nice and golden or starting to go golden for the crops that go golden. Where I went to go running on Saturday, they'd already had the combine out on a few fields. They tend to, in the where I drove, the farms that I drove past, they tend to combine their headland and then leave the field for a bit. Whether the moisture had changed or what, I don't know. I think I've mentioned this before, and the suggestion might have been that they would be waiting for the baling contractor to come, and then they'd combine the rest and bale the straw. I think it's quite common to not bale the headlands like we generally do in FS, because it doesn't matter that we're driving over the straw and stuff and there's bales in the way and that kind of thing. In the real world, I think it's quite common that they would not bale the headlands for whatever reason. The farm nearest where I live, their headlands are always a bit ropey. So maybe it's just not worth it. Maybe there's just not enough straw. They do seem to have a lot again actually, because last year might have been the year before. They actually didn't bother harvesting one field because it was so full of weeds. I'm pretty sure they didn't anyway. They just had a combine parked in the middle of it with from the contractors without having combined any of it. But they have a little bit of weed growing. It's yeah. They don't, unless I've seen them spraying. So they're growing a couple of fields of maize this year. Last couple of years they've only done one, but they're growing a couple of fields of maize this year. And I did actually see them spraying it earlier in the year. They seem to plant very late as well. I guess down south it's a little bit warmer than the rest of the UK. I don't know. I'm just making all this stuff up, really. But yeah, it's kind of cool seeing things starting to happen on the farms. I'm hoping that I'll catch some of the fields near me being harvested. It's a bit of a. I generally see them when I go running, and there's a bit of a balance then of I like to go running early in the morning, partly to get it done, so I'm not got to fit it in later in the day if I get tired or whatever. And partly like this time of year because it's cooler at the start of the day. But that means I don't see if they're doing any field work particularly. Yeah. And that's the trade really, is going later to maybe catch some farming being done versus going early to make it more enjoyable. Yeah. I went out quite late yesterday, but didn't go over the farmway. Probably would have been done by the time I went out. I don't know. Farmers work weird hours, and I'm really rambling today. So I'm slightly out of practice with this again. In fact, not really got back into practice, I guess, with the I had the weekend off and then did a couple of days, and then with the holiday, although I've not streamed as much as I wanted to, most of the videos have been stream replays, so a little bit out of practice with doing this thingy mabob. So this is was not edited but was rendered, and is being finished on my upgraded computer, so that's kind of cool. It's working very nicely. Very pleased so far. I'm going to do a double layer of bales on here with the snow. I don't fancy going crazy high and crashing badly, so we'll have to do a couple of trips. There feels like there were a lot of bales in this field. I'm kind of wishing that I started doing this earlier in the winter rather than having to do it all in one hit. It was quite a time-consuming process getting the field cleared, but it needed doing, so it's a pretty decent sized grass field, or was a decent sized grass field. I'm not sure how the other one compares. I guess probably if we get a decent, it's going to be April or May before we're cutting grass. If we get a decent, I guess late spring, early summer, be making hay on the first cut on here, because we've got some silage. So I'm not going to bring anything over from Maypole. So when I'm guessing it'll be April that we bring the cows over, and once the cows leave, I will sell all of the leftover bales and stuff. There's quite a lot of leftover bales and silage still, so that would be another nice boost of cash. We might end up using that to buy some feed here. So yeah, I'm not gonna, excuse me, I'm not gonna move the bales between saves. I don't think that's, yes, they move bales around the country. I don't think you'd move, like 6 lorries full around the country. Particularly as one farm's in Ireland and one farm's in Scotland. Yeah. I'm not planning to do that. Oh, properly tired today. Properly tired. So this is part of the reason I haven't been streaming is it's been really warm here still. And the nice thing is that because I'm not working, I'm not sat in the spare room all day, because it does get very hot when I'm sat in here working. So it's now only 26 degrees in here, which is not awful, but it's much nicer downstairs. Yeah, but our bedroom stays really hot, even after it cools down, everywhere else. And so I'm just not sleeping well in the heat. Patrons will have heard these stories because I did record a video for those guys this morning. I think it was Sunday morning, or early hours of Sunday morning. I couldn't sleep because it was really hot. I went downstairs because it's generally cooler downstairs, and nice comfortable reclining armchair. And I was going to go to sleep down there, but couldn't get back to sleep. So I had about 4 hours sleep on, it would have been Saturday night. And then this morning I was woken up at about 2 a.m. with a dog desperate to go to the toilet. To be fair, he does call when he needs to go, and he'll only call if he really, really needs to go. So, you know, better than a puddle in the kitchen, or worse than a puddle in the kitchen. But that kind of disturbed my sleep. But I did get back to sleep, but it's not the same, is it? So I don't know what to do about the whole sleep thing. It's weird. I like waking up early. I like having, you know, like when I'm not home alone, I like having, you know, an hour or so or whatever in the morning where the house is empty. It's really good for getting, like I say, getting my run in before work, but it's just like I can get up at 5 or half 5 and do that. 4 o'clock is just, yeah. And I say today I went back to sleep. It was still 4:30 when I got up. I was properly tired still. I've been finding that I've been doing a peat and having a bit of a nap during the day sometimes, or like finding that in the evening I'm falling asleep quite early in the chair. You know, does it count as a nap if you wake up and then go to bed? I don't know. I'm not an expert on this. Pete, does it count as a nap if I fall asleep in the chair and then when I wake up go up to bed? You're my resident napping expert, so you know why I'm asking. So back to farm sim. I'm putting the silage bales in the shed. Now I wouldn't normally do this, and in the end I stopped doing it. Normally I would just stack them outside, but there's a, you know, foot thick layer of snow on the ground, and I was worried that when the snow disappears, the bales might do really random things and the whole thing fall over and I'd have to restack it. So I thought, initially I thought I'll stack them in this shed, and the one that's over our right shoulder at the moment are both going to be bale sheds. So I didn't have kit in them. I ended up putting kit in the other one in the end for now. But these are going to be bale sheds. You know, they're pretty close to, well, they're not really, are they? They're probably pretty close to where I'll be mixing food, because we've got silage clamp there. I am going to be doing silage in the clamp this time around. We've got potatoes in there at the moment that were left over from the harvesting contract. So probably I'll end up, we've got the TMR mixer now, so when we've got cows in the sheds, I'll be mixing feed up in, I think I'll mix feed up in this area and then take it around to the sheds. Probably the easiest way of doing it. So it's a decent size area to bring the feed mixer over and, you know, have the bucket and stuff. We'll have to tweak the TMR recipe a bit, actually, because the current TMR mix that I'm using doesn't have whole crop in it. But yeah, that's fine. Don't mind tweaking TMR recipes. Kind of how I ended up doing what I do with farming agencies. So, you know, can't really grumble at that. Yeah, okay. So I've been off work now for 5 and a bit days. So it's Monday morning. It's Monday, not Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Been off work for 5 and a bit days, and it's really nice not having to work or think about work, which I've done pretty well at, actually. So yeah, I just need to crack this whole sleep thing. I think I said recently, this is not a new thing for me. It's been a problem my whole life. Waking up early. I remember as a kid, my parents saying, you can't get out of bed before whatever time it was, and I would just lay in bed awake when I was a little kid. I think they hoped I would go back to sleep, but I never did. So let's get this tractor repaired. It's been pretty battered. Yeah, 8 grand. John Deere. That's not a nice repair bill. Yeah, it's always been a problem. And again, I think I said, I remember I had a Facebook memory thingy, Bob, from like 10 or 12 years ago, and I was saying the same thing about being awake half 4. So I ended up clearing a patch of snow to stack the rest of the bales. They just weren't behaving nicely in the shed. It's the 1st of March now. We've got another tractor that needs a bit of refueling and repair, and seeing as we're making money, I think it was another 30 grand came in from the dairy for March. So, but the weather looks much nicer. This snow should clear off, and we can get some field work done. So I'm just going to get this tractor repaired, and I expected to have to wait a while for the snow to clear, but I saved and reloaded the game for something, and you'll see in a moment the snow vanished. I guess because of the temperature, the game decided we didn't need snow anymore. So I can't actually plant until April. So I'm going to get this field disked. So we ploughed it before we planted the winter wheat. We need to disc this before we seed it, and then probably I'm going to skip ahead to April or at least I'm going to skip ahead to March 2 and see if contracts start cropping up. If not, we'll skip ahead to April. I mean, they need to do move the cows forwards to April. We'll see if the grass is growing in the pasture. If it is, we'll bring the cows over. We've got grass silage if we need to buffer feed them a bit, so that's okay. Now originally I had thought that I would make the direction that I've just done the short rows, but I then realized that means I'm going to drive over the bit that I have disked repeatedly, and you don't really want to do that because you're trying to create a nice fluffy seed bed. So we're going to go this way, and yeah, I wasn't thinking when I started. Well, no, I wasn't thinking when I started. Well, how many times can I say well and restart myself in one sentence? I had thought I'll drive a couple headlands and then I'll do the up-down rows, and then I remembered the process that I was doing. So normally if I was seeding, I would do that. I would seed the headlands and then seed the up-down rows, but because I'm trying to prepare the seed bed, we want to do the up-down rows first and then the headlands. So although it's not really up-down, it's more side to side. That was a really, really bad Karate Kid impression there. Oh, I loved that film as a kid. Loved. I think like 1 to 3, not all the stuff beyond that wasn't really proper Karate Kid to me. In fact, I'm not even sure I've seen the later ones. I have seen they exist. So to me, it stopped at 3. I haven't watched all of. I did watch a bit of it was originally a YouTube series that went to Netflix, I think. Cobra Kai, but I only watched a bit of it. I think I might have watched I watched it when it was still on YouTube, and they made, I think, the first series available for free. It was okay. It wasn't good enough that I've gone back and watched the rest of it. What I have gone back and I have been watching this week, well, half watching, kind of my background TV has been The Walking Dead. Now, I watched The Walking Dead when it originally came out. I think I watched to like season, I don't know, 5, somewhere between 5 and 7, I think. And I found it got a bit boring then. But rewatching the first series, it's really good. Really good. I'm really enjoying it. It was so long ago that I've forgotten a lot of the detail. I remember obviously the big bits of the story, but the detail and the order of things I don't remember. So it's almost like watching something sort of half from fresh. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Really, really good. Did I say it was really good? I suspect I'll probably only watch a few series of it, and then it'll start to get the same. It'll start to get a bit samey. It's my expectation. I did start watching Lost again. It's another old one. And I think I watched like 4 or 5 episodes and kind of petered out on that one. I would like to go back and carry on watching that. I'm generally not very good at watching series when they're new. and recent. We started watching the Fukushima one that you guys recommended, and yeah, enjoying it. But we tend to watch things like that only at the weekends, and we're also in the process again a little bit behind. We had neither of us had watched Vikings before, and so we've been watching that. I don't know how we're on, like series 7, I think, or something like that now. We've kind of been binging that at weekends, and really enjoying it. So yeah, we tend to. That's partly my fault. Usually in the evening during the week, I just want like stuff I don't need to concentrate on. That's why I'm watching. That's why I've been watching. It's more playing The Walking Dead. I tend to have it on in the background. It's just nice background noise. I sort of half tune into it. I'll be doing stuff on my laptop or whatever. It's kind of like the way I consume a lot of YouTube stuff. Is that you? Is that you now? Are you doing something else when you should be paying attention? Yeah, I tend to again play YouTube in the background. Quite often I will only listen to content that's like this. Number of farm sim videos I've listened to. There's a few videos that I will actually watch as well as listen to, but quite a lot I will just listen to, particularly if it's a series and it's kind of deeper into the series, because I want to keep up with what's going on, but I don't necessarily need to see the pictures. Yeah, but still watching a lot of LTT at the moment. A lot of David Does Tech stuff. I find him so funny. It's very funny. A bit of car tech. It's mostly my dose of farm sim action at the moment is a bit of car tech. There aren't many others that really interest me in. Yeah, it's weird. As someone who makes farm sim content, lately I have not watched a lot of farm sim. So I was watching Mr. Farquhar's Own the Map series. Obviously it inspired my Saxful series, and I've kind of missed a few of those again. So I tend to, and I've been watching a lot of Project Zomboid still. I've not played much of it recently, but I've been watching a lot of Project Zomboid. I think Project Zomboid has kind of replaced my farm sim watching at the moment. There's only so many hours in the day to watch YouTube. Realistically, there's only so many hours that I'm going to watch YouTube anyway. So by the time I've caught up on some tech stuff, and then watched a few Zomboid videos, I might run out of time for farm sim. But yeah, which is probably not great when you're trying to make content about farm sim, because it would be good to have things to fire off and inspiration and ideas and stuff. But equally, it means I'm not copying people because I'm not watching it. So yeah, and I'm not moaning about people as much because I'm not watching the stuff that frustrates me. So there is that, which is probably a plus, Anyway, we are pretty much done with this field. As I said, it might be April when we come back. If a load of contracts spring up in the later part of March, I might come back and do some of those. But if not, it'll probably be April when we are back. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this. Things will be returning to normal for me and the channel over the next few days. There may actually be some gaps as I get back into work, and it's probably going to be quite busy, so it might be a little bit of a restart again. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Comments, questions, suggestions below, and I will see you next time.